Welcome, Cancer Ascendant, Cancer Risings. This is your April 2020 new moon video. We will have the sign of Taurus holding on to the sun at 3:24 and the moon at 3:24. Now, for April 2020, we also have Uranus in the sign of Taurus. Uranus is at 6:24 on the 24th. Sorry, I've got cats in the room. How does this affect you, Cancer Ascendant, Cancer Rising? Well, Cancer energy and Taurus energy actually sextile each other. They get along, they're 60 degrees apart, and they know how to communicate, they know how to talk. They have a certain amount of things that make a lot of sense because Taurus is all about things being comfortable and peaceful, and it likes security. Cancer individuals also value security, also value comfort. So they have some things that they actually understand about one another. You know, Cancer is a water sign, Taurus is an earth sign. So there's earth and water get along. Together they can make something. Although it's mud, but you can make a lot of things with mud, right? So they have things in which they can do something with their energy. All right. Now, we also during this time are going to be experiencing the planet Venus going out of bounds. She's already out of bounds. Actually, she went out of bounds on the 3rd of April and will be out of bounds all the way until like 2 months. We've got April 3rd to, I believe, June 2nd. Actually, she stays in the sign of Gemini. So while she's out of bounds, she's in Gemini, and she stays in Gemini energy all the way until August of 2020. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to dive deep for you, Cancer Ascendant. We're going to do your all astrology. All right, so say hello to Zoe over there. She's trying to escape out of the room, and there's a lot of noise on the outside, so the door's shut for right now, so she's not going to be happy, but maybe we'll try to keep her entertained while we're having a good time here. She came in here so that she could play. But then whenever I get the light, she's like, what? I don't want that. Cancer Ascendant, Cancer Rising. If we look to your Taurus energy, right? Because that's what we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about this new moon. Now, remember, the new moon energies are always the sun and the moon in the same sign. Okay, so I give out the degrees because you would want to look in your chart to see if you have something there. If you do, the sun energizes it. It lights it up. The moon is our emotions. So if you have something at 3:24 in Taurus, then the moon sits there. You know, the moon is emotions, so it could light something up. Now, recognizing that when the moon is in Taurus energy, it's going to be compatible with you. And Taurus energy is stable. It's grounded. Remember, it likes peace. It feels very calm. It feels secure. Now, when I look for your Cancer Ascendant, Cancer Rising folks, I'm going to look for your Taurus energy. And your Taurus energy is actually going to be in your 11th house of friendships, your 11th house of group energy, okay? So there is a real ease for you then when you see, you know, 60 degrees away, not just simply 60 degrees away in training, but in the house of friends, in the house of people. Right? People that you talk to, people you relate with on a regular. They don't have to necessarily be in your best friend bucket, but they're going to be people that you're going to have things in common and have an easy time to get along with. Come here, girly. Come on. Come on up and say hello to everybody. I want to look at your 3rd house because before we dissect this new moon for you, basically new moons are times where we're setting our intentions. And intentions are a big deal because it's all about what I want, what I need, actually. That's the theme of this whole year. It's been part of the theme for 2019, and it's definitely the theme of 2020 because we have Uranus in Taurus, and this is also in your 11th house because this is where your Taurus energy is. So Uranus is sitting at 6:24, the moon will be at 3:24, and the sun will be at 3:24, which means that on the day of the full moon, which by the way is on the 22nd of April, if I didn't say that already, and if you don't know where this stuff is located in your chart, or you don't know if you have other birth natal planets there, because that would be a factor, especially if something squares it. So that would mean if you have anything in either Leo or in Aquarian energy, that squares Taurus energy because it's all the fixed stuff, fixed, squares fixed. And you would want to see if you have matching degrees in either Leo or Aquarius, whether it's with Uranus at 624 or whether it's for the sun or for the moon at 324. This would give you an indicator of if it's going to be a time of ease, if it's going to be a time of stress, and just what are the other house locations that are involved. Off the top, I can tell you that your Aquarian energy typically would be in your 8th house, or we can look over to your Leo energy, and that is typically going to be in your 2nd house. Now, why do you need to know the house locations? Because the house locations, we can find out what area of our life it's in. So if it's in your 2nd house, this is your income. This is your money. These are the things that you value. This is how you value. This is how you love. This is what 2nd house represents. And when it comes to having Leo energy there, well, Leo likes things that are fun. Leo loves entertainment. Leo also likes to be very physical. Leo wants to be able to go and have like a little workout routine. Leo energy is very romantic, right? You would know this about yourself. There's things that you really look for when it comes to dating, relating, and mating. The Leo energy is very fiery, and a low expression of Leo energy can be very, very, very self-centered. Okay, wants the spotlight on itself. So romance for a Leo could be where, someone's just, going all out, spending money, and, go to a live show, theater of some sort, a play, a musical. Leo is very, very artsy, very artistic, very creative. So these are things that you would value. Now, when we look at your 3rd house energy, and I'm talking about the 3rd house because it's how we think. The 3rd house is how you think, how you speak, how you communicate. And you have Virgo energy there, which means that with Virgo there, Virgo likes details. Virgo pays attention to details. To Virgo, the details matter. And in your ways of communicating, you could maybe sometimes, people might think, oh my God, you're telling me every single detail. I'm not looking for, a book, just give me the headlines type of thing. This isn't a definite. It just depends if you have something in there, in that chart, in that location of that 2nd house, if it's squared. Because that means there's a stress, there's a tension, and things don't flow out as smoothly. But Virgos can be really good communicators because of the fact that they don't forget the details. So they can be great teachers. How many of us have gone to school and you had a teacher who, especially math, they'd go ahead and they throw some stuff on the board and they wouldn't show you all the steps, right? And I couldn't stand that. That drove me nuts because I'm always like, I would look at what they were doing and I'm like, okay, great. So you're really fast, right? You're really skilled at what you're doing, but it's not helping me understand how you got to where you got to, because they would skip steps. The Virgo wouldn't skip the steps. Virgo would know that the details matter. The other thing about a Virgo energy is it is very practical. It's earthy, very down to earth, and is very resourceful and efficient. And so when it comes to Virgos, they know how to do things. They know how to connect things. They know how to get things done. So they're, when they're talking, thinking, and communicating, they're probably thinking they are the problem solver, that's their job. Like if you're sharing with them, they're thinking, oh, I need to figure a solution out for this person. But not everybody wants that, right? And so sometimes that could be a drawback. Also, because Virgos can focus so much on details, there can be a tendency to over-identify with the details and become almost critical. And again, this is not all Virgos. This would be just an expression of that energy. And it can, we've all got free will, but this is your thinking. This is the way you relate. This is the way you communicate. Cancer ascendant, Cancer rising. The new moon is now another earth energy, Taurus energy, and this is going to be in your 11th house. Now your 3rd house is earth, it's Virgo, and this will trine your Taurus energy. So look in your chart and see, do you have anything in Virgo? You can also look in your 7th house, which is Capricorn, see if you have anything. Again, if you're not sure, maybe you've never even been here before and you don't have your chart, just comment your digits below and I can help you out. So your 3rd, 7th, and 11th house is where your earth energies are. And this means that when the new moon is in an earth energy, it is going to send supportive beams to those house locations. Now, your seventh house is your committed relationships, your one-on-one relationships, could be business partnerships, but it's relationships that are important to you. Okay, there are people in your life that you are willing to meet in the middle for certain things. You are willing to bend, you're willing to compromise, you're willing to do whatever it takes to keep this person in your life. All right, this is usually people who are married, but not limited to that. The 11th house is a lot like the 7th house, but it's more of a group energy. So for people who gather with other like-minded people, you know, whether you go to your social clubs, the internet is a big factor here. And that 3rd house where your Virgo energy is, that's also social media and internet. The 11th house, the difference between the 11th and the 3rd house when we talk about social media is the 3rd house social media might be more of a learning thing, because the 3rd house is education. Okay, it is. It's not like the 9th house. 9th house education is more like higher education. It's, you know, college level education. And the 3rd location, the 3rd house location, is going to be more about, you know, teaching people who are in grade school, maybe high school. It's I don't know how to explain it. It's like the day-to-day things, the everyday things that we might consider common sense type things, but having Virgo there means that this person's going to be really good at teaching others about those things. And so having that kind of energy line up with the 7th house means that you're probably going to have a lot of people in your life who are very grounded, who are very 3D, rational, logical, because you have Capricorn in your 7th house. And Capricorn is going to be those individuals who wants to do things in a very structured, organized way, which is really good for Virgo energy. Virgos are going to be, they're going to have a lot of similarities because, again, earth, grounded, tangible, common sense, you know, knock on wood type of things where it's, you're not going to be taking risks because you think things through, but Capricorn doesn't want to take risks either. It's smart. It knows that it has to, it knows that it's going to take a while to get a quality product, and it has to put in the work. And it knows that there's no shortcuts involved. It's, you know, that's a high form of the Capricorn energy. If you see somebody, if you know anybody who's Capricorn and they aren't doing things like this, they actually do the opposite. Like they kind of, some people say they kind of stomp on people to climb the ladder, so to speak. They'll literally use another human being's body and just climb right up on them to get ahead. That would be a super low expression of the Capricorn energy. And in the end, that stuff never works out. It ends up, energy is a boomerang. What you put out comes back. You know, it's just the timing of it. You may not see it at one particular time, but eventually it comes around. The wise Capricorn person is very responsible, is very mature, and knows it's the fine wine. And it took a long time to become the fine wine. It aged, right? Having Capricorn in the 7th house would also likely mean that a partner could possibly be older than you because of the fact that that's something you admire in somebody. That is something that you, it's an attribute you would like for yourself, or somebody would look up to you and think, oh my God, you're so smart. You're an authority. There's something about somebody being older and an authoritative person. And they don't always have to be older necessarily numerically, chronologically. They can be older because they are just so wise, okay? Saturn is always referred to as the teacher, and well, Saturn rules your 7th house. Now getting to the new moon energy, Earth again, 11th house, Taurus energy. 11th house is humanitarian. Okay, 11th house is ruled by Aquarius energy, and the 11th house is advancements for humanity. It's astrology. The 11th house is how we connect with others, but in a way where it's altruism. It's doing things for the greater good, doing things for something that is bigger than yourself, doing things as a group because we have a common goal. So sometimes, you know, you could put your church members in that bucket because it's group energy, right? People go bowling, that's group energy. Someone goes to play bingo, that's group energy, right? Social media, that's group energy. You can go on Facebook and you can connect with you know, a buttload of people at one time. New moon is going to be a time of setting intentions because the moon is our emotions, and the sun paired up with the moon. The sun is energy. It's where the spotlight shines. It revitalizes it. It adds energy to the moon, adds energy to your emotions. So typically what you want to do is have an idea of what you're going to be wishing for, what you're going to be praying for, what your intentions are going to be, because you want to utilize the energy that's at hand, that you have, your resources basically. Now, the recommendation is typically to do the wishing or to do the praying, to write your intentions down on that day, which is the 22nd. My recommendation is to wait because there's some tricky energy around the new moon. We have the Uranian energy, which is only 3 degrees away from the moon and the sun on the 22nd. The moon only takes 2 hours to move 1 degree. So that would mean that within 6 hours, the moon will be sitting on Uranus. Now, we have to talk about Uranus for a little bit. Uranus energy is very much focused on things being different. I want something new. I want something different. I can't do the same thing today. And if it's in Taurus energy, having the sun and the moon there almost makes it feel like, okay, I want this different thing, and I'm changing my mind about something. Maybe not even a change of mind, but there's just this new thing that you're saying, but this is what I want now. Understanding that Uranus is has this rebellious mode to it, where it's like, okay, I want it and I'm going to get it. So what you want to just keep in mind is that different is probably something you need to do, especially since we're all under lockdown. We're all dealing with life in a different way. So, you know, adding some spice to the pot would probably be a good idea. Give the pot a stir is a good idea, but just make sure that you're thinking things through and you're doing things that are within reason, okay? But a change always does everybody some good. At this time, though, after the moon pulls away, literally 6 hours later, it sits on Uranus, and so there might be this urge. Now, remember, when we talk about the planet Venus, Venus rules Taurus. Venus is the ruler of this whole month. With Uranus and Taurus, we can't talk enough about Venus, and this is all about reevaluating what I value. Well, this began 2 years ago. Now, with all this stuff that's been going on, we are realizing how some things we took for granted, we all of a sudden don't have. And so we are looking at very much the differences of talking to people on the phone or Skyping or, you know, taking our neighbors for granted, to where now we're realizing that human contact, that face-to-face, that we have a thirst for it in a way we didn't before. And so there might be little moments where we have these little, yeah, I stopped doing that. Why? You know? And so this whole experience, there's always silver, like those silver linings in every cloud. And the difference is can we look for them and can we focus on them? So keeping calm and peaceful, which is Venus energy, peace, penis. That's like the third time I did that. Venus wants things to be nice and things to be beautiful, things to be calm, things to be fair. Venus loves relationships. Venus is all about giving and receiving. Venus is all about compromise. Venus rules Libra. Venus rules Taurus. The beginning of the month we had a full moon. Full moon was in Libra. Venus. We're having a new moon. New moon's in Taurus. Venus, right? Uranus in Taurus. Venus. Venus is out of bounds. Venus ends up staying in the sign of Gemini all the way until August. So let's talk about that. Venus is an emphasis on desire, because that is what that energy is. It's about what I want and taking it. What I want, working for it and getting it. But Venus in Taurus in particular, because this is where we have our new moon energy, right? And this is where we have the moon that's going to go and sit on Uranus. Taurus, when it gets something that it likes, it doesn't want to let go. It's a fixed sign, so it holds on tightly, okay? So when the moon goes and transits and sits on top of Uranus for just a little bit, it'll be fast, recognizing that if there was something that had this big appeal to you emotionally, don't be surprised if within 12 hours you're all of a sudden like, okay, I had it, I'm done. I don't need it anymore. That was I'm good to go. I can go back to whatever I was doing before. Don't be surprised if that happens. Just be aware of that. And it's not a big deal unless something is squaring your Uranus energy. Okay, and the only way to know that is to comment your stuff so I can look that up for you. The thing we have to be aware of at the new moon time is the sun. Because the sun at 3:24 Taurus, the sun moves 1 degree a day, which means in 3 days' time, it will be sitting on top of Uranus energy. So it lights the Uranus rebel. I need different, I need new, I need some excitement. I might even want to take a risk. Uranus is also connecting in with the mind of God. It's connecting in with the cosmos. It's connecting in with greater knowledge, greater communication. You know, this is the sign of Thomas Edison. This is the sign of the inventor. So for Tauruses, whether you're a Taurus sun or a Taurus ascendant, you know, there might be different things going on with your nerves because that's what Uranus rules, the nerves in our body. And Taurus is a very, very sensitive sign. It is aesthetically smells, taste, touch, feeling, and hearing, the vision. It rules the throat. It rules speech. And having Uranus in Taurus means all those things get heightened even more. And so this is kind of, it could be a shock to some folks. It could also at the same time be old news already because Uranus has been in Taurus for 2 years, okay? Again, if you have something squaring and you may not know, right? But if you have increase recently through health, whether it's been with nerves or just feeling very anxious, you know what I mean? Like, because it kind of frazzles us up here as well. Definitely comment your stuff. You won't know, you would be surprised how many people's charts I've looked at and it was like, oh yeah, this is what's going on here. And the good news is it's not permanent. It does change, okay? The planets move. Now, what else happens when the sun sits on top of Uranus? Well, it lights up different. It lights up, this is what I want. So when we, now again, it's going to be fast. It only sits on Uranus for like a day, but there is that like day before, day sitting, it's the day it's on it and the day after. So there will be a building and a culmination and then like a waning, just like we do with the moon. So that's like the 26th. I should say 22nd, so what I say, the 25th actually will be when the sun and Uranus are actually conjunct. There's some other things happening on the 25th that I wanted to make a quick mention of. This is a time when we have the planet Mercury. Mercury is now already in Aries energy, which is good, but it goes way too fast, so it makes energy is, I'm thinking about something, because Mercury's there, but at the same time, that thought that I just had, now I'm going to act on it. I want to just go ahead and do it. I'm not even going to sit here and think too much about it. And so that would be the caution, because it's going to be very impulsive with actions. It thinks and then it says, let's go do. And so you want to be aware of that, okay? You want to be aware of if you have something in Aries energy, if it's lighting something up, because then it intensifies that. And you also want to see if there's anything that's going to be squaring it. So when I look at the day of the 25th, we've got Mercury at 24 degrees in Aries energy, okay? Now, that means because it's in Aries, I'm bringing this up because we have, at the same time, the planet Pluto standing still. Pluto's going to go backwards. It's going to start its retrograde movement like the same day. Actually, so it might have been standing still the day before. Well, it definitely was standing still the days before. But what you're feeling simultaneously is a square between Mercury and Pluto, okay? Mercury's speaking and thinking and communication. Pluto is in Capricorn. It's a cardinal sign, okay? Capricorn's cardinal earth. Aries is cardinal fire. So when you have Capricorn, when you have the Capricorn cardinal stuff, ruler of Saturn, right? Squaring the Aries energy. Aries is I want to do. But Capricorn, because the ruler is Saturn, it will restrict the movements. It will restrict communication. So this is going to be important to know. Now let's talk about what areas of your life that occurs in. Your Capricorn energy, I told you earlier, is in your 7th house. Okay, and your Aries energy is going to be in your 10th house. So this is, your 10th is your goals, your ambitions in the world. It could be your career, it could be something to do with your job, it's your vocation. Okay, it's like just this thing you have a massive drive about, some sort of an ambition of yours. Well, there's like a stall, there's a slowdown, or there's maybe even a stop sign. This is fast though, okay? This is very fast, but it could be very powerful because it's Pluto. Pluto is powerful. It's very powerful. What I will say is that Pluto is fear as well. It's our soul, so it's lifetimes of any sort of fear that we had. To understand more about lifetimes, past life stuff, I'd need to see your chart. I'd need to look at it and to better understand if there would be a lot of that happening for you in this life. And if you feel like you're in a really fearful place, I mean, more than well, this is kind of a new experience for all of us, so I don't know what more would be. But I guess if you feel like things are unbearable and hard and you don't understand why, this might be able to give you some insight. I can help you find that out. So you just comment your stuff below and we can take a look. Things around the new moon, you're going to be wanting new and different stuff, okay? By the 25th, you're going to be feeling restrictions. But I want you to set your intentions on the 24th, the day before this big square happens. Mercury moves fast. So setting your intentions on the 24th, you're going to base these intentions on your Scorpio energy. This is doing your soul's bidding. Your Scorpio energy, your Pluto energy. Pluto's the ruler of Scorpio. Doing the Scorpio intentions, prayers is going to be the answer. Now, Scorpio energy is located for you, Cancer, in your 5th house. This is going to be wishes and intentions and prayers and hopes for your future that include not just yourself, but it's in your 5th house, which means your creations. This could include your physical creations, which would be your little people, your humans, your children. This could be any creative endeavor of yours. If you're a writer, this could be maybe you could be an artist. This could be any kind of an artist. It could be music. With Scorpio in the 5th house, very creative spot. Any sort of creation. The 5th house, again, is that Leo energy. So the 5th house would also be how to have a good time, how to have joy, how to keep joy in your life, especially right now. This is going to be huge. I would make this one of my intentions without a doubt. Utilizing the Scorpio energy is the ability to hone in on your deep emotional world. Okay? So connecting with things that have happened. There's a really good possibility you connect with partners from past lives, or maybe people who were from, depending upon your age, previous relationships you've had. 5th house, romance, children, joy, creativity, fun, exercising, having fun with my body. This is going to be big, okay? Big because we are all having to make sure that we are incorporating things that make us laugh every single day, especially now, instead of allowing fear to envelop us. Okay, so Cancer Ascendant, Cancer Rising. You have any questions? All you got to do, comment your stuff below, comment your questions below, and I will help you out. I hope this puts some light upon your path and stay safe. Bye.